Welcome back to another episode of War in Cali. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the Ghetto Boyz. The Ghetto Boyz are a Sereno gang coming out of the east side of South Central. They were established around 4 decades ago and have several cliques, like 25th Street, 27th, 28th Street, and a few others. The Ghetto Boyz are rivals of hoods like the Playboy 13s, 39th Street, 41st Street, the Hangout Boys, Clanton 14, and Primera Flats. The Ghetto Boyz' rivalry with Primera Flats has been fierce and deadly to both sides and their communities. With both being around the same area, they both claimed the same park, which resulted in a war over Trinity Park, which is located on 25th Street. This led to unfortunate events like in April of 2002, where an 8-year-old boy was playing at Trinity Park and was shot in the chest in a crossfire between the two gangs, causing him to lose his life. This made the area hot and caused a lot of unwanted attention between the two gangs. But with that being said, let's get into some cases. FT from Primera Flats lived with his mom and 5 younger siblings on South Adair Street. Around 9:30 p.m., FT and his siblings and several neighbors were hanging out in his front yard. Gremlin and King from Ghetto Boyz drove down Adair Street and spotted FT and another Primera Flat member named Jay. They started firing. An 8-year-old special needs kid was next to Jay, so Jay pushed him down to the ground and started to run. The 8-year-old, not knowing any better, got up and ran after Jay. The 8-year-old was shot in the head, taking his life. Several witnesses would come forth to identify King and Gremlin, and later witnesses testified in court. King and Gremlin were sentenced to life in prison. Mario lived on 22nd and Maple with his brother Luis. On November 3rd, 2004, Mario was sitting on the porch of their home, and Luis was in the middle of the street. Mario then seen a car pull up, and in a few quick seconds fire at his brother multiple times. Mario jumped up and ran to the side of his brother. He got a good look at the shooter and the people in the car. Luis lost his life and laid on the ground fatally shot. Mario will be later shown by the police a photo lineup, and he picked up the driver and the shooter. Police later got in contact with a woman named Hilda. She was from Ghetto Boyz. She was arrested on a separate charge, but told the police everything she knew for a lesser charge. She was dating at the time a ghetto boy named Jesse, and she knew that Jesse and his sidekick Little Lefty were involved. The night of the shooting, Jesse told Hilda that him and Little Lefty shot someone. Days later, she asked him who it was, and he replied by laughing and saying the person on 22nd. He also told her Little Lefty shot him in the back. Both Jesse and Lefty later received life. On June 8, 2008, several members of Ghetto Boyz in Claytown 14 were at Miles' bar. Kat, Gerardo, and Kat's girlfriend Esther was there. They was from Ghetto Boyz. Ramona, her brother Victor, Victor's wife Tatum, a dude named O, Enrique, and his wife was there as well. Enrique, O, and Victor were from Clayton 14. Both groups would get into it after the bar closed on the outside. This all led to disrespect and fists flying. This all ended with Kat and Gerardo being shot and the Clayton 14 group running away. Security would give the police a whole account of what happened. He said Kat challenged Victor to a fight, which led to a brick brawl between the two groups. He said Victor told O to grab a strap, and O did that and started shooting, taking Kat's life and seriously injuring Gerardo. The security would pick O out as a shooter in a photo lineup. Victor and Ramona would be picked up as well as O, but Ramona and Victor got acquitted, but O received 50 years to life. On August 26, 2011, Hilo was visiting his wife's aunt on East 35th Street. Sue, who lived on the same block, was walking to her car when she seen a white van pull up and shots rang out. She immediately ran back inside her home. About 30 minutes later, Sue came out to see Hilo laid out in the street. Police would later catch up to the van and tried to pull it over. The police noticed how nervous the driver was when they pulled him over. The driver then reversed after being pulled over and then ran into several cars and then tried to escape. The van later crashed on 25th and Main, and 2 men were arrested. The 2 men arrested were Saul and Rodrigo. Saul told police during the investigation, "I only shot one fool. He shot at us, and I shot back. He was from 36th Street." Saul and Rodrigo were from Ghetto Boyz, and they went into 36th Street looking for a victim. Rodrigo somehow got acquitted, and Saul received life. On March 2nd, 2011, Alberto was walking on Maple and 27th Street when he heard yelling and seen a woman named Little Chucky from Ghetto Boyz being chased by a crowd of people. She was yelling for help, and someone in the group yelled out, "We gonna kill her." Alberto heard 3 shots and seen Little Chucky laid out in the street. She lost her life. Multiple people would see the group chase her, but what stood out most was a woman who was limping and was chasing her too. The shooter was a man named Peter. He was later identified that day and took the police on a chase that lasted 20 minutes. So this whole altercation happened over little Chucky and a woman named Diana having beef. Diana said it was over a boy and her not joining the Ghetto Boyz. Little Chucky whipped out a strap on Diana, and Peter and several other people came and tried to stop the situation, but little Chucky shot her and started running. All led to little Chucky being chased and later shot and losing her life to Peter. Peter tried to claim little Chucky was a threat and he shot her for that reason, but she ran away and wasn't a threat anymore, and he chased her leading to her death. So Peter was charged with manslaughter. Peter is eligible for parole in 2038. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous videos. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.